If you have pursued a dream and you haven't been able to achieve it, you probably just need a rest. You've probably expended so much energy trying to achieve that dream that you're just tired. It might be that, like us, you were looking for a child, a family, and it never came about. It might be that your career has not gone in the direction that you wanted. Maybe your art hasn't made it to the masses, or your songs aren't being downloaded on iTunes as much as you'd like, and you've been pursuing that. You've been putting everything into it, night and day. Maybe you've been gathering around a hospital bed while your friend dies of cancer. There will be a time for you to have some rest. That's the first element of a resurrection year. Just schedule in some rest. The second element is recreation. I love the literal meaning of the word recreation. It means to be recreated. Factor into your life a period of time to enjoy God's good creation in whatever form gives you life. It might be a hobby, it might be a craft, it might be art, it might be music, it might be sport. For me, it's photography. I take out my Canon camera and go wandering around, and I just enter a different timeless space really when I'm playing around with photography. I love it. For Maren, my wife, it's reading books. So things that restore you. If you're an introvert, you probably want time alone. If you're an extrovert, you probably want time with people. So that's the second thing as well, is recreation. The third thing I'd say is renewal. If you go through a broken dream, you probably got some big questions for God. Who are you? Are you as nice as I always thought you were? Are you as caring, as loving? Are you there? You probably have some big questions maybe about the meaning of your life, the meaning of life itself. You've probably got some big questions about your place in the world. A resurrection year needs to include some time to explore those questions and to wrestle with them. There'll be some wrestling, and to pray them through, and particularly to pray them through with the help of a good Christian community around you, maybe a spiritual director, somebody who's really close to God who can just help and gently walk you and guide you through those questions. So we've got rest, recreation, renewal, and I'd say the fourth element is a certain element or a certain degree of reinvention. You will be a different person after your broken dream. You couldn't become the person you wanted to become, let's face it. For my wife Maren, it was becoming a mum. She could not become a mum. For me, it was becoming a father. I could not become a father. You cannot become the person you want to become, sadly, when you have seen a dream break. However, the whole story of the wilderness in the Old Testament is really helpful in this regard. Here you have a group of people God calls out of Egypt. He takes them on a journey through the wilderness for 40 years. It was only a 13-day trek if they'd gone direct. But through a whole heap of reasons, they end up trekking around for 40 years in the dust and the dirt, sunlight. They were tired, they were hungry even though God provided for them. They were confused, they were wondering which way to go next, etc. But during that period of time, it's the first time we find in the Bible that the Israelites are actually called God's children. There is something about that wilderness period, that broken dream period, in which God is changing you, changing your identity into somebody new. Particularly, it's going to be about your relationship with Him as a child of God. You're going to come into a new experience of what that really means, because you may have everything else gone, but you will never lose that identity as a child of God. But secondly, there might be a new role for you, a new identity in the secondary sense of a new place in the world, a new opportunity to serve people. I never was expecting to write a book about our experience of infertility and broken dreams. Now I have, and that book is going to be much more important than anything else I've previously done. That was a complete surprise to us. So God's going to be making you into somebody new through this. Hold on to that. It'll be difficult at times, and you're not going to be sure as to what He's doing, but He is doing something. But those four elements, they might help you, hey? Rest, recreation, renewal, and reinvention.